Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into the shocking twists from Days of Our Lives, specifically, the episode that aired on May 21st. This wasn't just another day in Salem. This was the day everything changed. Sarah Horton, once filled with dreams of new beginnings, now stands frozen, her entire world unraveling. Paulina Price dropped a bombshell. Brady and Alex sensed danger. And someone is keeping a very dark secret. Let's break it all down. It began with Sarah Horton, and a single moment that changed everything. Only days ago, she was smiling again, sitting beside Xander, trading soft jokes about baby names and what it might feel like to hold a newborn once more. It wasn't just small talk, it was healing. A fragile dream built from the rubble of their past. They had come so far, from betrayal and heartbreak to something that almost resembled peace. For a moment, it felt possible. Another baby, a second chance, a family not just rebuilt, but reborn. But that moment died in the cold silence of Salem Hospital. Today, Sarah stood alone in a corridor where the hum of machines replaced laughter and antiseptic replaced warmth. The smell of fear clung to the walls. It was there, in that sterile stillness, that the joy she once felt curdled into dread. Why? Maybe it was the sight of Philip Kyriakis, broken, unconscious, hanging on by a thread in the ICU. The stark reminder that life in Salem can change, or end, in a heartbeat. Or maybe it was something more intimate, more personal. The look on Xander's face when he left the Kyriakis mansion earlier. His fists clenched, his breath short, his eyes burning with a rage that frightened even her. She knew that rage. She had been on the receiving end of it before. She had seen what it could do. Suddenly, the dream cracked. Sarah saw the truth buried beneath the fantasy. This wasn't the world to raise a child in. Not now, not like this. She didn't stop loving the idea of a baby. But her instinct, once filled with hope, was now screaming at her to run. Because this child wouldn't be entering a loving home. This child would be born into chaos. And it hit her. Bringing a baby into this world wouldn't be an act of healing. It might be an act of cruelty. Her maternal instinct didn't vanish, it evolved. From joy into terror, from anticipation into paralyzing doubt. And that fear, it wasn't the end of the story. It was just the beginning of something far more painful. Meanwhile, across town, another kind of heartbreak was brewing. Quieter, slower, but just as dangerous. Stephanie Johnson saw it immediately. The way Kat looked at Chad DiMera. It was subtle, but unmistakable. That flicker in her eyes when he walked into the room. The way her smile softened when he spoke. It wasn't lust. It wasn't friendship. It was hope. The kind of hope Stephanie herself once clung to. The kind that blinded her to what she should have seen all along. Because Stephanie knew this story. She had lived it. She had fallen for a man who still carried a ghost in his shadow. A man who would smile, touch your hand, say all the right things. But never fully be yours. That ghost was Abigail, and Stephanie could still feel her presence even now. So when she pulled Kat aside, it wasn't to scold or accuse. It was a quiet warning from someone who had already walked through that fire. And didn't want to see someone else get burned. Her words were gentle, but pointed. Don't fall too hard for a man still haunted by a ghost. Kat nodded, smiled, pretended she didn't take it personally. But Stephanie saw it. That flicker of defiance, that thread of denial Kat was already clutching. Denial has a face too. And Stephanie recognized it instantly. Because that's how it starts. You tell yourself he's different with you. You believe you can love him enough to quiet the ghosts. You ignore the signs because you want the story to be real. But reality has a cruel way of catching up. And when it does, it leaves more than just heartbreak. It leaves scars. So now, Stephanie watches from a distance, heart heavy, eyes wary, knowing that Chad might not even realize the danger he's creating. And Kat, she may already be too far gone. It was a perfectly ordinary afternoon at the Price household, until the door swung open without a knock. Paulina Price had arrived. No warning, no heads up, no smile, just the look of a woman on a mission. Chanel barely had time to put down her coffee. Johnny stiffened immediately, sensing something wasn't right. And for good reason. Paulina doesn't show up casually. She's not one for polite visits. When she comes uninvited, it means one thing. Something is about to explode. But what exactly brought her here today? At first glance, it seemed personal. Her eyes searched Chanel's face like a mother looking for cracks in a carefully built facade. But then, her attention shifted to Johnny, and the temperature in the room dropped even lower. Was this about politics, the upcoming campaign tensions, or was it about something more intimate, something buried deep in E.J. Demara's growing shadow? The truth is, no one could pin it down, and Paulina wasn't offering answers, just questions wrapped in subtle threats and unspoken judgment. Her words were sharp, measured, but beneath them pulsed something far more dangerous, a plan already in motion. One that, once unleashed, won't stop at her daughter's doorstep. Paulina has made powerful moves before, but today, it wasn't just about power. It was about protection, and possibly revenge. The fallout? It won't just rattle Chanel and Johnny. It may ripple across the entire town, shaking alliances and tearing open secrets no one's ready to face. Because Paulina doesn't reveal things piece by piece. She drops bombs, and this time, she may have just started a chain reaction no one can stop. While the drama unfolded in living rooms and hospital corridors, a different kind of story was brewing behind closed doors. A story of patterns, instincts, and growing dread. Brady Black and Alex Kyriakis weren't chasing shadows. They were chasing truth. It started with fragments, small things that others brushed off. A broken vial in a place it shouldn't have been. The timing of Philip's attack, too precise, too coincidental. And a strange silence from people who usually had too much to say. Something was off, and these two men knew the signs. They'd seen it before. Schemes buried under the surface of the Kyriakis empire, where lies are currency and secrets get people killed. Alex tried to stay calm, to think it through logically. He's been burned before by jumping too fast. But Brady? He didn't have the luxury of patience anymore. The sight of Philip, barely clinging to life, hit him like a punch to the gut. Because this wasn't just family. This was a warning. To some, it looked like bad luck. But to Brady and Alex, it looked engineered. Someone was playing a long game. One that involved sabotage, violence, and silence. And worse, it was working. Because no one else seemed to care. No one else saw the pattern forming. They tried to raise the alarm, to warn people that the dots were connecting in a way that spelled something sinister. But in Salem, people rarely listen until it's too late. And that's the danger. Instincts are only useful if someone's willing to act on them. If not, they're just whispers in the wind. Brady's frustration is mounting. Alex is teetering between control and fear. And with every unanswered question, the sense of urgency tightens. Because this time, it's not just about saving Philip. It's about stopping whatever's coming next. And if Salem doesn't wake up soon, the next victim might not get a second chance. Across town, balloons floated, candles flickered, and a chorus of "Happy Birthday" echoed through the Horton home. Today was supposed to be magical, Ariana Horton's birthday. A moment filled with joy, laughter, and the comfort of family. But to Gabby Hernandez, something felt off. She watched her daughter closely, not with a casual glance, but with the sharpened gaze of a mother who has fought too many battles and told too many lies to not recognize one when she sees it. Ari smiled. She said all the right things. She even blew out the candles with the enthusiasm everyone expected. But Gabby saw what no one else did. Behind those wide eyes was something unsettling. Not nervousness, not shyness, fear. It was fleeting, but unmistakable. A flicker of anxiety every time someone asked if she was having fun, a tense glance toward her unopened gifts, a hesitant hug to a certain guest. Gabby's instincts went on high alert, because she knows Ari, and she knows what it looks like when someone is hiding something. At first, she tried to brush it off, tell herself it was nothing. Maybe just nerves, maybe Ari was overwhelmed, but the more she watched, the more convinced she became. Something happened, something no one is talking about. And Ari? She's carrying that secret alone. Gabby has never been afraid of digging deep for answers. But this time, she hesitates. Because what if the truth isn't something she wants to find? What if it leads to someone in that very room? Because in Salem, the most dangerous lies aren't shouted. They're whispered behind birthday smiles. And the tiniest secrets? They're often the ones that explode first. May 21st wasn't just another day on the calendar, it was a fault line. And today, that fault line cracked. Sarah Horton, who once dared to dream of a second chance, now finds herself paralyzed by fear. Her vision of motherhood didn't vanish, it was shattered by reality. By blood-soaked ICU sheets. By rage in Xander's eyes. By the realization that love isn't always enough to protect what matters most. Meanwhile, Kat has taken a dangerous step forward, blindly following the echo of a man who may never fully be hers. Stephanie tried to warn her, but ghosts don't care about warnings. They haunt anyway. And then there's Paulina, who didn't knock, didn't explain, and didn't leave without turning the air to ice. She didn't just confront her family. She started something, and whatever it is, it's already unstoppable. Brady and Alex, two men from a legacy of war, are once again sensing the storm before it hits. They see the pattern, they feel the danger, but no one's listening, and that's how Salem always bleeds, by ignoring the quietest warnings. And finally, a little girl's birthday. A day meant for cake and candles now smells faintly of secrets. A mother's heart breaks quietly, knowing the smile on her daughter's face is hiding something darker. So here we are. One day. 5 stories. Dozens of cracks forming beneath Salem's polished surface. This wasn't supposed to happen. But in this town, when dreams collapse, they take everything with them. So we leave you with one haunting question. Who's telling the truth in Salem? And who's hiding the knife behind their back? Drop your theories in the comments. No detail is too small. If you found today's breakdown insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for your daily dose of Days of Our Lives twists, secrets, and scandal. Because in Salem, every choice has a cost. Every whisper hides a war. And today, everything changed.